Hey everybody, and welcome to another RCT2 review. Today we're looking at Smooch Hour by Xtreme97, Luketh, and Narc. This one comes from an unofficial contest that was hosted by Dr. Dirt on New Element's Discord channel. The idea was a multi-part contest where in the first round, different users would take the pre-built coasters from RCT and rebuild them in either a more realistic, more fantastical, whatever style, just make them better, improve them. Then from there, it went randomly to another person to do an area layout, and then from there it went to another person to do the finishing touches. So in this instance, Luketh started this one off by building a glow up of the Crush Hour layout from I think it was the sit down version in the game. Made it larger, maybe a little more realistic, and just better looking overall. Then Narc took over from that with the area layout, and then from there, Xtreme97 took it the rest of the way with the station and ride details and the finishing up of the whole thing. So he gets 80% share of this map, and Narc and Luketh both get 10. But let's check this out because this is actually a really cool map for being on the smaller side. There's a lot of really neat stuff with it. So first of all, really fantastic Mediterranean architecture here, and let's start out with the coaster because that's of course our focus here. I love the colors straight off the bat. This darker green from the English palette always works really well for me. I really like that color, and set off with the yellow, it just looks really nice. So this is a stand-up coaster, which is cool because we don't see too many of those. And I always like seeing more of that sort of thing. So let's take a look at this. This is sort of a non-traditional layout, but it's still in the realm of believability, which I appreciate. We start out with this great big curving drop into a pretty substantial loop and an Immelman, and then we have this really kind of neat inclined helix that's pretty far up off the ground into the mid-course brake run. Nice dive off there, kind of reminiscent of the first drop as we head into another Immelman. As we wrap around, do an outward banked corner, swap over top of the lift hill there, go through a corkscrew, and then into some of these finishing S-bends throughout the whole thing and into the brakes. Runs 3 trains really well, has a realistic amount of brake run and transfer tracks and all that kind of fun stuff, so always nice to see those sorts of details considered. Let's get into the station here a little bit. Really like the texturing of this, how it's sort of darker here as it lightens up onto the top. So that's pretty cool. And then this Roman shade sort of covering on this is kind of reminiscent of older school New Element builds where the station track was outside, and then you build huts or some kind of architecture around the huts just to hide those since you couldn't make them invisible easily at the time. But I kind of like how this is all set up. It's done really well. Got some frozen staff here to direct the folks into the different Q elements and all of that. So very nice as far as that goes. You can kind of see this as part of a larger park because you've got the pavement going on out here with some pretty neat lush landscaping, and points to that for some of these really kind of interesting colors and just textures. So the red on the bamboo here, this plant that's got some red flowers, these like blue different pieces here, and then also some of these half diagonals which are put in here really subtly. I'm starting to like the half diagonals. I know that's probably a shock based on what I've previously said, but if they're done well, like this one is, you can really get a nice install here. Like this is a very nice easy curve across this whole space, so done very well. Then we got our lighthouse on this side, really nice kind of tapered object here, used well with the curved objects, the crown molding and the curved lights and everything. This looks really nice without being overly detailed. We've got a gift shop right here, Shell City. Some very nice little entry portals here with this arch on this side, and then also this nice big overhang on this side, and those sort of off-colored Mediterranean tiles, bits and pieces like that. Cool little details out here on the start. You got your test seat here, you got your height check marker, you got your staff member out here on the front for the whole thing. Spin around again, we have Lakeside Grill here. Cool looking sign, love the supports on back. And then just the overall architecture. So you look at stuff like this where you've got a nice sized parapet wall here. You got some HVAC units on the top and on the back sides. Evac stairs on the back side. You can tell it's a little less themed. You got your little dumpster here, and then just a more simplistic design on the back. But architecturally, this is really, really nice. is you got your main form here. You've got a big kind of awning and I guess first level porch that shield or that surrounds the whole bit, and then on this side you've got this nice patio up top to look out over top of everything. Nice seating down below with these sort of big Mediterranean arches and overhangs. Low slope roof, done really well here. And then just screening to your back of house area so you can't see any of this from the park side. Further down over here, we've got our only other ride here in the map, our Sky Ride, that goes off the map to parts unknown. It will be lovely to see the rest of the park if this was ever expanded. Love this diagonal bridge right here with the diagonal arch, or the half diagonal arches. That's done pretty well, and it's short enough that I don't think it ends up being really in your face about it. I think half diagonals work really well as parts of a whole, not really on their own. So some of these, say, larger stretches, like long bridges or long boulevards or things like that, don't always look well, or look so good. But this is done really well right here, and I think it's put together really nicely. I do like how this water kind of permeates through the whole thing. It's not really a focal point as far as it's just sort of ground cover underneath, but it adds a nice kind of colored brilliance to this area, a little bit lighter blue to offset some of these other colors in this sort of sea of dark green supports, which are very well done, actually. Very well put together. Quite realistic B&M kind of things. And then through the queue, you have all these great details. Love this the sort of trellis tree thing over here with this curved trellis elements using the RMC track, and then the kind of leaves and stuff on top. So it feels like that'd be a really cool spot to occupy with some shade and everything like that. And then just little buildings as you pass through the space. It's a very themed queue, which is always kind of nice to see. And then back here we've got our back of house space where we've got our obligatory peep here taking a break and smoking. You've got a nice transfer table here, yellow footers for vehicle protection, which is nice. I love these little kind of crunch details here of the vehicle the vehicle treads and everything like that. You've got a nice big garage door here into this supposed maintenance bay. These maintenance guys are very lucky because they have air conditioned the maintenance bay, so always nice for those guys to have. But yeah, so it's a really nice looking map and just kind of pleasant overall. The Mediterranean theme is one of those that I think Xtreme does really well, and is done incredibly well in this instance as and nothing new as far as atmosphere goes and everything else. It's kind of dripping with atmosphere, just really beautiful overall, and just looks great. So non-traditional layout, which is cool. I like that, and it really feels like one person built this. So I know credit to the three of the guys for doing a nice job at making this feel pretty seamless. With the coaster, the area development, and the details and everything else. So really nice finish here. One of the best things to come out of that contest, and really a worthwhile look. So if you'd like to download this park, I'm going to post a link to it in the comments below or in the description, and you can download it yourself. If you have other ones you'd like to see for me to add to the list, I know I've got a pretty decent sized list that we will hopefully start chipping away at soon, then feel free to let me know. And then we're going to keep on doing some of these recent releases, some 22-esque releases, as we kind of catch up a little bit from when I wasn't doing quite as many videos. I hope you have enjoyed this one, and I hope you will check out the next ones and take a look at this park as well in game. If you do open this in game, you do need to open RCT for it, but I think by now a lot of folks should have that. If you don't, just Google it, and you can find a free download for it, as long as you have the original game installed. So with that, I'll say thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.